Hey everybody, we're in Paducah, Kentucky. When we told a friend we were going to be here, he said, I want to spend a week in Paducah one day. So I figured, let's see how much we can pack into a day in Paducah. Chief Hesser, this one's for you. Got to start out at the Gold Rush. Have the Big Dalton, eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns, and the topper, bread pudding waffles. Let's go. Welcome to What Doin'. We're Deb and Aaron, two retirees originally from Washington State who love to travel the country, make new friends, have new adventures, scuba dive, hike, cook, and just about anything outdoors. For the ride. You never know what kind of crazy adventures we're going to get mixed up in. And you never know what doing. Paducah sits at the convergence of the Ohio and Tennessee rivers. It dates back to about 1821, and 20 of the downtown blocks have been designated as a historic district listed in the National Register of Historic Places. On the waterfront, at wall to wall, one of the really cool things they have in Paducah is murals all the way down through the seawall, and it depicts life in Paducah at its heyday. So we'll take a walk down through here, take a look at some of the paintings. They're redoing some of it every September and October. They repaint the murals, update them, and show a little bit more about Paducah. Each of the murals has a plaque in front of it that tells about the mural, tells a little bit about the history of Paducah and why it was famous. So of course, if there's something to do with early firefighting, I'm going to take a picture of it or do something with it. The mural is kind of amazing. We found the Center for Maritime Education where I'm told you can learn how to drive a river barge. Let's find out. Because of its proximity to the convergence of four major rivers, the Ohio, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Cumberland, maritime history is rich in Paducah. During the Civil War, battles were fought here to control supply shipments by both Union and Confederate forces. I had no idea the inland waterway was so huge.
That's why they call Paducah Four Rivers. So it's the convergence 40 miles from here from Four Rivers. Pretty cool. Is this like the driving simulator at the Academy?
Yeah, pretty much, except we're on a Coast Guard cutter. I don't know what I'm doing. Whoa! Okay, that's weird.
You're making me dizzy.
Ooh, we got waves going now. Where's Jim Heath? I need you here, Jim. Of course, he was a helicopter guy, not a boat guy.
Well, then how would he help? Oh my gosh, this actually makes you just kind of...
Isn't that weird?
Seasick. Oh.
What you doing?
I have to pilot alongside another vessel at night. And there was a reason I was in the Army and not the Navy.
If it's shopping you're looking for, there's plenty of that downtown. From antique shops to little eateries to boutiques, you can find something for everyone. I have absolutely no idea what that is about. The architecture of Paducah is cool. Shops and buildings around the market building remain pretty much the way they were originally. The Guthrie building from 1897 was used as the county draft board. More than 5,000 men and women were processed here during World War II. At 175 years old, the St. Francis Catholic Church is the oldest church in Paducah. The property was purchased in 1848 and the building was completed in 1849. The architecture is just crazy cool. Downtown street parking is limited to 2 hours, so set an alarm to remind you to move your car. Also, maybe set an alarm to remember your coffee's on the back bumper. Take a walk up to the Tillman House and Civil War Museum. Here you can learn more about activities and the history.
The Tillmans were here 9 years before the war. Actually never did own the house. It was offered to the family as an incentive bugs and mosquitoes, and we have plenty of those. Thank you very much. And the war came, he joined the Confederacy, as did a whole lot of Maryland.
We even learned that the Confederate flag was not the official flag of the South. The first flag looked too much like the Union, and the soldiers couldn't tell which line to go to, and a lot of times were shot by their own men. The second flag looked too much like a surrender flag, so it didn't last long. The last version is still relatively unknown, but is the official First National. We even got a private tour into the meeting room of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. It's definitely a different sort of history than I got in school as a Northerner. The Civil War is referred to as the conflict, and there's still a feeling of great loss for them. The South Shall Rise Again meetings are conducted here to discuss what it would be like if the war had turned out another way. Because you know, quilting is huge in the South down here. Check this thing out. After the tour, it was back out onto the street in the nice warm sunshine. The squirrels in this town are crazy. They're everywhere, and this little guy followed us along for a couple blocks to make sure that we didn't get lost.
You know Grandma Williams, Great-Grandma Williams, Great-Great-Grandma Williams, to some of you. She was well known for three things. Little Wild Blackberry Pie. Halloween is here, and she was known for her world-famous handmade donuts that people drove hours to get. And number three, her quilts. And I got emotional going inside, I have to say. This brought back all those wonderful memories of her. So, I love you, husband, for enduring the Quilt Museum. It was amazing inside, but paying homage to Grandma Williams. Man, you've got to come visit this. It's pretty amazing.
At lunchtime, we found a funky little sports bar with great food and beers called the Over-Under. As we headed back to the truck, we ran into this gentleman on the sidewalk. Mike took us into the Silent Brigade Distillery for some moonshine samples. He doesn't work there. He just likes the shine. So did we.
Kind of hard.
Yeah, you can't just drive down like
Right, yeah. Yes.
Normally it would be our apple pie that I always give out next.
Tease.
But Mike drank it all.
So we actually get our apple cider and our blackberry cider from a local Amish farm in the area. The blackberry recipe that we have is hard to keep the same. It's like one of those that they have to work with keeping it similar to each batch, just because blackberries are not the same size year round. So I know that the Amish people probably don't know what we're using their cider for, but they always try to make sure that it's the same each time we get some in.
You know, that is really good.
That was actually amazing.
A little sweeter,
Yeah.
but there's no bite, there's no burn to it.
You're right.
That's a
You can sip that all
sipping.
day long.
Yes. Yeah, man can mess up real quick.
Okay, what was this one?
That is our chocolate coconut. So a lot of people say that it tastes like a Mounds bar or an almond joy.
You were right.
It does.
Mike's got the knowledge.
He does. He is.
Been here a while to know. It's
Mike knows moonshine.
It's good. Like I tell anybody, they make all their products is good. You just have to find the one that suits your palate, but you can drink it. I'll take any of them.
Well,
But-
but you can't have just one.
Right.
Because your palate changes during the day.
That's true.
In the morning, I might want something like wake me up,
Right.
and then in the evening, I want something nice and mellow.
Yeah. Like you said, sit there and you sip on and say, hey, have another.
Yeah.
And you know you're not gonna get stupid.
Well,
Well,
I start out the day anyway, so it's like, how much worse can it get?
How much? Well, there you go.
Oh, I can tell you the ways.
It gets real bad.
Okay, this is.
That is our bourbon. So
Bourbon.
that is aged for about 3 years. It's 118 proof, so it's
Uh-oh.
on the
Uh-oh. Bottoms
burn
up.
side. It has some spice to it.
You see, that would be really good in like an old fashioned.
Woo-wee! Ah,
That's a good one.
my tonsils have been obliterated. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little more like the first as far as the bite to it. But sometimes you gotta have that.
Right.
No.
Sweet sugar.
Yeah, I agree. Were you guys wanting to try the barbecue sauce and the Bloody Mary mix?
There you go.
We'll do one, yeah. Blackberry and a chocolate almond.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Mike, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome,
Thank you
man.
for kicking us in here off the curb and saying, get in there
Yeah.
and try some product.
I'm glad you guys found some. I'll tell people, come. Now, there's been a few, but there are people who were teetotalers. I don't like none of them. They had one lady come in here, and she told Carl at the very beginning, about a week or two ago, I don't really like alcohol. I don't know why she come in, you know, it's
Yeah.
not like surprise, you know, like a Global Power moment. But she did try them, and every time she said, ew.
Fun to watch though.
But she did try them. I got to give her that much credit. She did try them.
I
But
like escargot.
okay.
I didn't like it yesterday.
They,
I'll try it today, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. Why would you do that to yourself? I could have sat and talked to Mike for hours. It's one of the things that Deb and I love to do. Meet interesting people and spend time learning about them. Carly convinced us to take home the 2 bottles that were our favorites. Back out to the street we went. For our next adventure of the day, we headed out to the land between the lakes. On the way, we passed through Grand Rivers and found Patty's 1880s settlement. There's a little bit of everything here, from boutiques, miniature golf, giant chess. Oh yeah, they have flower pot bread and 2-inch thick pork chops. The land between the lakes lies between Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. It was made a national recreation area in 1963 by President John F. Kennedy. There's a 53-mile hiking trail that runs down through the middle of it, and there's several camping areas. We found this guy who got the perfect spot. Can you imagine? You can also drive through the Bison and Elk Prairie. They maintain a herd of 44 bison and 44 elk. Although we didn't see any of those on our trip, there was a lone coyote that made an appearance. Time for one more stop on the way home. Stopped in to do a little tasting at the Purple Toad Winery, and you know what that leads to? I need to buy a bigger truck. I think we did a pretty good job of packing a week into one day. We made it back to Raven just in time for a well-deserved night of relaxation and sunset before heading off to another adventure of what doing.